You want it to be one way.
What?
You want it to be one way.
Man, I don't
want
know
it to be one
Man,
way.
stop. Stop saying that.
But it's the other way.
Rolly Romero seemingly prices himself out of a fight with Ryan Garcia, claiming he's the A side and that Ryan Garcia should be the B side. Excuse me. Don't know if I disagree with Rolly Romero, being that he is a champion, and in my opinion, only thing Ryan Garcia brings to the table is potential pay-per-view buys. So I can see how an argument could be made as to why people would think Ryan Garcia should be the A side. After all, this is a new day in boxing where the best fighter isn't the one who has the leverage; it's the most popular, right? So it is what it is. That being said, Ryan Garcia seems like he's missed out on an opportunity for a legacy fight with Devin Haney for a championship belt, and potentially has missed out on a fight with Rolly Romero for an IBF title as well. So kind of caught in a conundrum. It looks like Oscar De La Hoya may be trying to coordinate a fight between him and Jose Ramirez, which in my opinion is a lose-lose for, well, I mean, it's a win for Ryan Garcia if he's able to stop Jose Ramirez, or at least perform very well against him, because that's a high level of competition and could change the narrative on his career right now as somebody who's only looking for the best money fights and not looking to compete with the best, being that he passed on an opportunity to actually fight the best in Devin Haney. So what does Ryan Garcia do at this point? Seems like he's still at odds with his promotional company, specifically with Oscar De La Hoya. Even rumors of him asking to have Oscar De La Hoya as a next match for himself rather than any of the fighters in the super lightweight division, any of his peers. I'm sure there's a good chance that that's just metaphors, or, you know, him just expressing some anger. But regardless, it's a lot to unpack, and you know what we're going to do. It's your boy Claymore Rain. This is the ATP Combat Media Show. Let's go.
They hate when you
all right.
I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate.
Bring it in. Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy Claymore Rain. This is the ATP Combat Media Show. Welcome one, welcome all. Salute to all the subscribers in the building. All the new subscribers, salute. If this is your first time watching this content, my advice to you is that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And when you do that, please remember to go ahead and hit that bell icon so you can get all alerts for when this content drops. Ryan Garcia seems to be caught in a little bit of a situation here, playing the game that looks like maybe flipping on him at this point, and the game may be getting played on him. So last we left with Ryan Garcia, he had stopped negotiations with Devin Haney, as he had openly told his team to go ahead and start negotiation and offered a challenge with Devin Haney for his WBC title. Now, as we all know, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia have a long time relationship, we can say, right? And ultimately, legacy-wise, it only makes sense that at some point they would fight, being that they've been pretty much from from competing in the amateurs 6 times, supposedly being at a 3-3, having a 3-3 record. Also having history at 135 pounds, where Devin Haney was the WBC title holder, and Ryan Garcia was somewhat of a mandatory, but just like a silver WBC title holder, from what I understand, right? So they were supposed to fight then, and they never did. Ryan Garcia goes in hiatus. Devin Haney moves on with his career to become an undisputed champion in that same weight class. Ryan Garcia comes back, has a fight at 140. He leaves the weight division to fight Fortuna, and then ultimately coordinates a fight to have against Gervonta Tank Davis. A huge fight. A fight where he was completely outclassed and ultimately stopped, and also, you know, as far as his credibility is concerned, kind of looking like a quitter, not getting up, ultimately choosing not to continue with a fight, it seems, from the outside looking in. And here we are today, where Devin Haney vacates his belt at 135 pounds, goes to 140, challenges one of the top contenders, some say the top, the best at that weight class in Regis Pro Grade, defeats him dominantly, beating him 12 rounds to nothing, pretty much 12 rounds to nil at that point, and becoming the WBC champion at that weight class division. Now, at that point, Ryan Garcia issuing a challenge to Devin Haney for his title. At his title, having, putting it on Twitter that he's instructed, right, his promotional company, Golden Boy Promotions, and specifically Oscar De La Hoya, to go ahead and reach out to Devin Haney's people to coordinate a fight. And also going on record to say that if the fight did not happen, it would be because of Devin Haney, that Ryan Garcia was prepared to negotiate and make a fair deal to have them actually meet in a squared circle to compete for the WBC title. Then maybe 2 weeks later, we see Ryan Garcia hanging out with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather at that point crowning him one of the lead pay-per-view stars out of 3, putting him in the same conversations of a Canelo Alvarez or a Gervonta Tank Davis, which, everybody is entitled to their opinion, right, to say the least. And at that point decided to instruct Oscar De La Hoya to come to remove the offers or stop the actual negotiations between Golden Boy Promotions and Devin Haney Promotions as far as them fighting. Wanted to pull himself out of that negotiation and wanted to reroute Oscar De La Hoya to actually open negotiations with Rolly Romero. And as of recently, Rolly Romero standing square on his soapbox, claiming A-side privileges, saying that Ryan Garcia should be the B-side and wants A-side privileges as far as money disbursement is concerned, as far as attention, as far as all the perks that come with an A-side. And Ryan Garcia not in agreement with that. And from the outside looking in, people are now saying that Rolly is purposefully pricing himself out of the negotiation process and ultimately leaving Ryan Garcia outside in the cold, looking for another fighter to fight against. And Oscar De La Hoya, as with all his wisdom, right, and as a CEO of Golden Boy Promotions, as the boss man, says, listen, we just got a new fighter that we just brought into the stable. He's in a super lightweight, super competitive guy. Ryan Garcia is talking about fighting the best, talking about fighting Devin Haney, fighting Rolly Romero. He wants belts. Well, this guy wants belts too and has earned his right to fight the best. And since Ryan Garcia has self-proclaimed himself as one of the best and a huge star, let's line him up with somebody who can really give him a good run for his money in Jose Ramirez. Now, Jose Ramirez comes into the sport, comes in well decorated, a great fighter. Can't say enough about this guy, right? At the end of the day, at 28 wins, only 1 loss to a decision, never been stopped, 18 knockouts, ranked number 2 in the WBO, number 7 in the WBC. An orthodox fighter who comes with a high IQ and a high pedigree, who would be very competitive against Ryan Garcia. It seems like that's the fight that may be getting coordinated for him, or that Oscar would like to coordinate for him. And I'm not sure how Ryan Garcia feels about that. I can say from the outside looking in, for sure, I think that Jose Ramirez is more of a threat than a Rolly Romero. You know what I mean? He's a disciplined fighter. It's going to require the best of Ryan Garcia, probably going to be the most competitive, or the most difficult fight Ryan Garcia would find himself in outside of the Gervonta Davis fight, right? It just seems like Ryan started off with so much. Sounded like he was on the road to go right towards getting towards championship, and now he's back in contender status, and he has a real chance of losing this fight. And what would that do to his career? I don't know. We're in an era, unfortunately, where losses mean something. You know what I mean? Losses always mean something. Losing, nobody wants to lose. But, there was an era where great fighters lost. It happened. They lost to other great fighters, though. They didn't lose to fighters that weren't great or fighters that weren't expected to beat them. They lost against the best. They made sure they did that on purpose so that if they did lose, they lost against the best. There's no loss of honor in losing against the best. But in this era that we live in, with fly-by-night fanatics who are a fan of you today, as long as you're undefeated, as long as you're beating everybody, and will forget you just as quickly or even quicker tomorrow if you lose a fight. It might be a little pressure on Ryan Garcia to protect his O. Well, what am I saying? What O? He lost against Gervonta Tank Davis, but still, trying to maintain some, get a winning streak going for himself. So Ryan Garcia may have found himself in a very complicated situation to say the least. He's even expressed some frustration with his promoter in Oscar De La Hoya, making, I want to say jokes at this point because I don't see how seriously we can take it, but making statements about coordinating a fight with Oscar De La Hoya instead of coordinating a fight with these other fighters, like he wants to fight Oscar De La Hoya. All that is just a frustration being demonstrated through Twitter, which is the new way for people to communicate without any pushback. Able to say whatever they want to say. It seems that Ryan Garcia is taking advantage of that platform to express his frustration with his promoter and Oscar De La Hoya. As I said, guys, in older videos that I put, this year, 2024, is going to be a very exposing year, period. Fighters are going to get exposed this year. There's becoming less and less excuses for these fighters not to fight each other. When you have the likes of a Saudi Arabia who are now, showing their face into the space and becoming that wild card that I keep calling them, who are willing to fund great fights and coordinate and provide platforms for the best to fight the best. It's just becoming a harder space. I think the boxing fan today is growing into the sport. I think they want better. They want more. I think there's a hunger for more competitive fights in the sport right now. And the Ryan Garcias of the world who are sitting there trying to cherry pick their opponents and trying to take the quickest way to championships, and they don't want to fight the best, and at least seemingly, like I said, from the outside looking in, it looks like they're just trying to cherry pick their way into greatness. It's going to become more and more difficult for these guys to do that. And I can tell you, as far as Ryan Garcia is concerned, in my opinion, you're in one of the most, if not the most competitive division in boxing right now. I just don't, I don't see that as that strategy being practical or realistic in this division where everybody is competitive. Yeah, Rolly Romero is probably your best opportunity at an easy fight to actually put a title around your waist, and he understood that. That's why he left his situation where he already had told Ryan Garcia that he wasn't even interested in having a fight. But when Rolly thought about it, was like, this guy's desperate for a belt. There's a lot of money with him. And he decided, ultimately at the end of the day, like, listen, okay, I'll fight you. But, I want to be the A side. I know I am the A side. I fought Gervonta Tank Davis as well. We did great numbers as well. I'm also a star in my own right. And more importantly, I hold the championship belt that you want and need to be taken seriously in any negotiation with any of the champions in the 140-pound super lightweight division. Rolly looks slow, but he just looks slow, right? He was born yesterday. He was born, but not yesterday, right? As the old saying goes. And, he's claiming his position. So what's next for Ryan Garcia? I don't know. I couldn't tell you, man. What do I think he should do? Well, honestly, I think Ryan Garcia should consider taking his time. I think him jumping into championship fights right now, fighting against the likes of a Devin Haney or Subriel Matias. Rolly Romero would have been a good fight for him, but if Rolly is, being difficult, it is what it is. But getting in the ring with the Teofimos and the Devin Haneys and the Subriel Matiases, even the Gary Antoine Russells and certain fighters like that, or the Richardson Hitchens, or other names that I can go down the list in a super lightweight division. I think he should take his time, and I have no problem with you picking those fights that are going to help you develop. That's what I like to see. If you're taking less competitive fights as to develop yourself, to get yourself where you need to be so you can compete at that high level with these champions, that makes sense. But I think a lot of effort needs to be put in that gym, And I think we need to see more in the ring from Ryan Garcia. I need to see that development. I need to see him active, more activity. And then we can talk about other topics of championships and things of that nature. But when you're trying to make lemonade out here with the lemons you're giving, you know, these things happen. When you can't cross promote and he can't fight, he doesn't have access to the complete roster at super lightweight. You know, it has to be under the Golden Boy banner or things of that nature. You know, it does get difficult for him to coordinate something that makes sense. But, you know, I know you're a superstar, and he's trying to make as much money as he can, and he's trying to follow in the footsteps of a Floyd Mayweather, but he's not trying to do everything that Floyd Mayweather did, obviously, right? But I'm interested in what you guys think about it. So where does Ryan Garcia go now? What does he do? What's his next fight? What makes more sense for him? What's going to benefit him right now? If he can't get Rolly Romero, he can't get Devin Haney, I don't think he's interested in fighting him anymore. Where does Ryan Garcia go? Who does he fight at this point? He seems absolutely frustrated. Should he be frustrated, or is it okay? Should he just go ahead and fight Jose Ramirez? And are you guys confident that he's just going to defeat Jose Ramirez pretty handedly and he can move on to his next opponent or next chapter after that? Let me know. It's your boy Claymore Rain. This is ATP Combat Media Show. Please remember to hit that like button when you come in the building. Help this get out in the algorithm so more people can see this content. And like I said, if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe. Go ahead and hit that bell icon so you as well can go ahead and get all the alerts on the content that we're dropping. But at this point, you know it as well as I know it. We out.
They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate.